Hello everyone, hello to all traders out there. In my videos I've been talking about the drop. I'm expecting to see the price of Bitcoin at $34,000, $26,000 and then $17,000. But still I'm not selling my Bitcoin, even though I can sell now and buy at a cheaper price later. Why is that? Today I'm going to explain it in great detail, and it's going to be a very interesting video. So let's get started. A good investor is someone who doesn't place everything on white or black. It is someone who always has various scenarios in their mind. And it's important that in any of these scenarios they are able to at least not lose anything, or even gain something. This is what makes a good investor. Some people think that someone who doesn't know where the price is going to go for sure is a bad trader. But this is wrong. A lot of traders have a win rate below 50% and they still make profits. It is all about risk management. It is all about the right approach to the way you trade and to the way you act. In this case, for example, I'm saying that I'm expecting a drop in price. And for this scenario, I have 30% in stable coins, which is quite a lot. And with these stable coins, I'm going to buy Bitcoin at 34K, 26K and 17K. But of course, when we are approaching these price levels, I will make decisions based on some indicators. And still, I, a person who is expecting a drop in price, am not selling my Bitcoin, even though there seems to be an opportunity to make money. And here is the reason for that. Let's first take a look at our first chart. This is Benjamin Cowen's idea. This is Bitcoin price logarithm in relation to the MA. So this is the Bitcoin MA, and the real Bitcoin price is sometimes very high, sometimes very low in relation to it. But right now we are seeing some fading, meaning that these highs and lows are becoming less obvious. If we pull the trend line, we will see that every time we touch this trend line, it acted as resistance. And we didn't go any further. So far it happened 3 times and the 4th time is yet to come. Also, we see some great buying levels at which major players buy. These levels are so far away from the trend line that it is very good to buy here. In addition, I'd like to point out the similarity between all these peaks. Let's discuss it, but this time using a different chart. What do we see here? If we divide the chart this way, sort of psychologically in 2 parts, we'll notice that these 2 parts are pretty similar to each other. We have growth, then we have a drop. Also in both parts we fall to the green line, which is the bottom in relation to the MA. Then a fake rally, a new low. Here it was deeper, by the way. Then we enter the accumulation phase. The first growth wave, and then here the second growth wave, which was at the same distance from the MA as in 2013. We can see it clearly here. Then we have a drop to the MA. This white line here is the MA. The chart is in the form of an oscillator. And then we had the second Bitcoin growth wave. So, can we assume that we're going to follow the same scenario this time? We can't know for sure, but this is a very interesting idea suggested by Benjamin Cowen. Also, we must understand that after that we'll have a very long bear market, if it all plays out. Because here we had a pretty long bear market. Not like here, for example, where we had some massive rallies. And here we haven't reached the top yet, as it happened before. The next chart I'd really like to show you is the RSI Indicator, the Bitcoin chart, and the channel in which this RSI is moving. For example, let's take a look at these dots. These are red dots, and here is the beginning of the first move, the first rally. Here it is, the beginning of the first rally. And then if we move the channel up, we'll see that this here was the end of the first growth wave, and this here was also the end of the first growth wave. Interesting, isn't it? Let's continue. This here is the end of the intermediate correction. Just like that place there also was the end of the intermediate correction. But after that, in year 2013, we had another move up that didn't get us to the top of the channel, while the price printed a new all-time high, creating a divergence. So, if everything we've said is correct, we can assume that the same is going to happen here. we are going to have some growth here. However, we won't get to the top of the channel, and the price will print new all-time highs, thus creating a divergence. It is notable that the channel always keeps the same level of incline, and we can see how all the dots line up perfectly on the chart. What do we see here? This is the chart from 2013 and the current situation with Fib levels pulled, where 1 is the beginning of the bear market and 0 is the end of the bear market. Here the same thing. And we come to the 61.8% level. And now I'll explain. Here what we need to look at is the 0.618 Fib level. We have it here and here. And if we pull the Fib extension from this level, so we've got 0.618, from here we drag to the intermediate high and then to the intermediate low. And we see that from here the distance is the same as from here. And this spot was the exact top. Here we're going to apply the same rule. 0.618, let me show you one more time. Here's the spot. From here, we take the Fib extension and drag it to the high, and then to the low. And now this level turns out to be $194,000. It did work out here. We'll see what happens this time. And now let's take a look at the Fib in greater detail, both the one from 2013 and the current one. What do we see? We see that in the first case, the price came to the 1.618 level, then fell to the 1.272 level, here as well, then moved up to 154 and faced resistance. Here also it moved up to 154 and faced resistance, then dropped to 1414, then it moved up a bit, almost back to the 154 level, and after that fell all the way down to 1.272, to about $33,000. And from here we had a new run all the way up to 2.272, which would be 206k in our case. This is my reason for not selling Bitcoin. Global doesn't suggest selling, you know. I told you about it. It doesn't say things like strong short or exit the market or anything like that. Some other indicators though, some of them, NVS for example, is currently suggesting that the market is overappreciated, and I don't know when it'll show the opposite. There are a lot of other negative things. I gave you some examples in the previous video, and all of them are there. But this is very positive. It looks just incredible, don't you agree? We can pretty much safely assume that this spot here is same as this one here, and that we can expect the same kind of movement. Also, I'd like you to notice that we have some indicators that point towards the top of the market. I have no idea how they're gonna perform this time, but for instance in 2013, they managed to identify the top correctly, in 2014 as well, and in 2017. This time we have 3 separate indicators, 3 different approaches based on 3 different things. At the moment, they all are in the same range from 160k to 190k. So if the price continues moving like this, and we are expecting about $208, $207, $205,000, then let's try to calculate when it'll happen. Right here, December 2021. We can expect that these 3 indicators will cross in this spot, where the price should come, assuming these Fib ideas are still relevant in the current bull market. Guys, some of you might get the idea that I first say one thing, then change my mind and say something else, but what I'm doing is showing you different mathematical models and telling what I'm going to do. It's your choice what to believe. And I'm not going to sell my Bitcoin. I will only sell it after a global signal or when the price reaches $160,000. By the way, we have a chart with a long-term investment plan in the pinned message. Here's what it looked like. This is the kind of plan that I keep to as well. Sell 30% at 90-91k and sell the rest at about 187, 195k. Of course, we're going to decide on exact figures and timings when we are approaching the target. Then for the first time we buy at 25k if there's any money left, then at 17k and at 14k. Also, there's a long-term plan based on the monthly chart for those who aren't in any rush. You can check it out as well. That's it. Thank you very much for watching and bye.